Right, me and Desi, second ever podcast, and we're delighted to welcome a local and Super League legend, a professional rugby league forward with a career spanning over 15 years at the very top of sport. So yeah, Liam Watts.
Cheers, mate. Thank you
Nice
for
to have
having
you
me on.
on, mate.
Yeah.
So I did have a scripted podcast for us, but you've thrown us a curveball with coming out of retirement.
When I saw it, I messaged you straight away, didn't I?
I thought you were taking piss, mate. I thought he's winding
Well, when
me
you
up.
text me, you like retirement. I didn't really want to say no, Rick. You know what I mean? I thought I'd just let him go with this, and then I was going to give it a couple more weeks. Season starts next week, so I thought I hadn't done no pre-season or like that. Just been doing my own little bits. Just doing my own little bits in that training, but I don't know. I would start job as well on Monday with Argazza and that, so I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I was just teetering whether to have another crack at it, but I'm just short of 400 games, so kids want me.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, I'm on about 380, 385, I think, and kids want me to stay at Hull and try and get 400 in. Do you know what I mean, in Super League? But just short, but kids didn't want me to finish, so.
So obviously everybody knows you as this tough big prop forward. I'm just trying to give people a chance to get into, the real Liam, like.
Yeah.
So if you can give us a quick intro, mate, where you were brought up, school, when you got into rugby and that.
Yeah.
We might butt in, mate, if we do and you get fed up. Crack Desi off camera,
like obviously you two as well. Do you know what I mean? It starts with parents, done it, and obviously my dad's involvement with rugby. And my dad's dad, my granddad Walt, and he coached for years at Magnet and Redhill and all them sorts of places. So just more or less my dad, I was 8-year-old and he says, look, do you fancy playing? I'll take you down. Took me down Slot Lane, and it's a little bit different now, but
you go to Airedale, are you?
Airedale, yeah.
Mr. Banks.
Yeah, Mr. Banks, yeah, Keith. My first training session got into about 4-8s because obviously they were Lot Lane and I'm Airedale. Do you know what I mean?
So Airedale v Cats.
Well, yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's all gone now. But back then it was still rife. It was fierce, and I went down for a session and Desi toured off and Bassinder and Caulfield and that. They all wanted to have a pop. Anyway, after the training session, my dad went.
Did you win?
I don't know that. I can't remember. Probably will have done. Yeah. My dad will have been in the background somewhere cheering me on.
Get into it.
And I can remember coming off and he was like, do you like it? I went, yeah. So I've enjoyed it. So then I went back down after that session. Then got on like a house on fire and all there my junior career up to me leaving in under 16s. We won everything for 3 years on trot. Yeah. And then we just rocked up one day. Start pre-season, there were 7 of us. We're like, it was weird because we've been unbeaten. Nobody got anywhere near us, and I think that 15, 16-year-old, it's a bit of a weird age, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like you're sort of coming out of them young teens and then starting to grow into young men. So
loads of distractions around you and all.
Yeah. There were a few. I think Desi Whitworth and that was smoking weed and that in park, getting pissed off and that. Do you know what I mean? So it was just you could just see them sort of fractured, people just breaking off and doing their own little thing. And obviously, me and Westy, we wanted to play rugby. That's all.
We always good pals, you and Westy.
Yeah, me and Westy. Yeah. So obviously, he come from Panthers. So he played down at Panthers there. I never met Westy up until him coming to Lot Lane. Yeah, but Panthers, we were a good side with Lot Lane, so obviously he got wind of that and he come down to Lot Lane for a training session. I think he was under 11s, and his dad brought him down, and he ended up coming to play for us. And then same again, we just got on like a house on fire. And then I think it was year after start of under 12s going into high school. We started knocking about a bit in year 6, but juniors back then and that, you didn't really play art and stuff, did you? You didn't really think it wasn't until you got into high school and you started. Do you know what I mean? Just going beyond your depths.
So,
and that.
What first club you signed up for then?
What amateur or
professional?
Professional, CAS.
CAS, yeah.
So I signed on. Desi, you were down there at the time, weren't you?
I just want to take you back a little bit because we're going a bit. What it is, I want to take you back to growing up, in Woodside.
Yeah.
What would it like growing up, Liam? Do you know, on Woodside? Up Airedale.
Well, as you know, obviously, Argaza lived on the same street, and Argaza's probably about 5 years older than me. I think he's 41 now. 40. I think he's 42 this year or 41.
Yeah, he's a year older.
Sammy were a little bit older. Kelly.
Yeah.
Darren's about same age as you, about 3 years older than me. So I was sort of left with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When my dad and my mum went out, and my auntie Bev and my uncle Legger and that, they used to go out obviously every weekend and stuff. So they used to babysit for me.
And I can imagine you getting up to no good.
Yeah, and
yeah, Gaza, yeah, definitely.
yeah. So they just used to let them just look after me and that. And something I can remember once going down river with Argaza, and used to go down tunnels down at top of Weldon Lane, just on bottom of Fryson Road. They like all tunnels and that there. We used to slide down them on slates and that. And remember, just obviously they were a lot older than me, so heaps in that. I would just like, I would step back, me just following them. Do you know what I mean? Buzzing and that to be knocking about with older ones. So I was probably a little bit older for my time. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I was seeing what they were doing, and they were getting up to no good and that. Do you know what I mean?
He's not a bad player, your Gaza, either.
Yeah, Argaza are a good player. Yeah, he really good. Darren is, to be fair. He's he's a good player as well. So it's that rugby game sort of runs into thingy, but go back to them growing up days on like top of Woodside and Parkdale and them. They were rough.
Your Gaza were a good player, but never get him for a game. Never ever. I can remember playing at Crown.
Yeah.
I know we've got you on podcast, but I can remember playing at Crown, and he turned around and said, "Oh, I'm playing this week," and your dad was coach.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he trained house down, then try and get him on a Saturday.
It's a weekend.
No chance.
He used to go out on a Thursday or a Friday, and my dad used to beg him, like, Gaza, just please stay in on a Friday. He said, go out Saturday after the game. And he just couldn't do it.
No.
He couldn't. He'd finish work on a Friday, but the All Tonic and all them, literally, they used to finish work on a Friday, and then they'd be out straight away. Do you know what I mean? And they'd be out for all weekend. And my dad and Tone Amph that used to be riding around all houses, knocking on doors and that. And I was once telling me a story. He says, we were once at R. Kelly's, and my dad were at door and Stigger up at door, and they were all done at bed. And my dad come flying upstairs. He went, where is he? Get him out here now. And he says he was linked under bed, and then he just felt somebody grab on his feet and pull him out from under bed. He said he was steaming still. Yeah, he was steaming, and then made him go play for Crown, and he ended up having a blinded the dad as a like, but they were like the sort of things that we grew up with, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I thought I had it rough on Saggy Wear, but Parkdale were like bricks.
Yeah.
We avoided that like
it's a bit rougher up there, Rick.
Yeah.
All right, well, a bit rougher down there. So what it always your dream to play for Cass then, or as a kid?
Yeah. So obviously I grew up watching Cass and that, and then when I signed on at Cass, obviously I went straight into the first team. So pretty lucky really, because there were loads of players that never got anywhere near the first team. So we got invited, or me, Westy and Rich Owen, that all signed on, and a few others than that from around the area. But we were invited to go straight into first team training. Do you know what I mean? Just a bit of a training trial sort of thing. And when I signed on, I signed a part-time contract because my plan was to play part-time and a bit more money. Yeah, just a bit more money coming in. Like, obviously, my dad's area, they were part-time, worked and played, so my dad sort of thing, and Westy and Rich Owen ended
Back in there, they used to finish a shift in pit and play, didn't they?
Yeah, well, that's it, yeah. So
Tony Marchant and that.
My dad sort of, he says, look, sign part-time, it's the same money as what you'd be getting full-time anyway. He said, and then they can't say no about your working then if you want to get a job when season finishes or whatever. I went, yeah.
Network security.
Yeah.
I went for them.
Hey,
Did some hours for them in Asda at Air Hills on Wine Watch.
Yeah, that was a loose crew, that. I think we spent more time asleep, actually, than doing security.
100%.
So yeah, my dad says, look, go part-time and just obviously take it one step at a time. And then I remember training, and it was intense. It was really intense, and like I said, and we literally left school in June, done all his exams, and then we were literally straight in from that same month, going straight into full-time rugby. So playing against seasoned pros with Danny Nutley, Danny Ward there, Danny Bruff. They were quite, do you know what I mean? There've been people that were so Westy and Rich and that, because they were on a full-time contract, they carried on training with them, and I sort of fell back. Yeah. I I would sort of out of my depth to start with. So I'm nearly a year younger than Westy, so I was only 15. He was 16 in November, so he had a full year on me. So he was like a bit more developed than me. I was still carrying a bit of chubby in that. Do you know what I mean? A bit of fat on me, and so yeah, I was a bit behind. And they just said to me, they just went, look, go back into academy, see how it was, and then ended up going back into academy, enjoying it, and then ended up playing with reserves with you and Psycho and that, and it was just sort of having that sort of progression of playing with grown blokes. You know what I mean? Playing with grown blokes, and
as well, Liam. Sorry to interrupt there, but I'm glad that because a lot of people out there that going from training with first team to then being told that you're going to academy. A lot of people had gone into the shell and like a bit selfish really. Like to man to coach and says like I can only speak for myself here. Like I did later. You know,
well, it was sort of my decision, Des. It was my decision.
Right,
Terry Matson pulled me in, and it was just sort of just got a feel on it, and just said, "How do you think that you're travelling and that?" And I was just honest with him. I said, "I think I'm a bit out of my depth here at the minute." I says, "Rich were like a racing snake. He were on wing. It was completely different. Westy were loose forward, standoff. I was playing it middle, me. So I was coming up against like Danny Nutley and that in training, playing 13 on 13. Do you know what I mean? And
like state of origin, let's be right.
Just physically, just probably not developed, obviously. Good experience, but scary and daunting at the same time. And I just said to him, I said, look, I feel like I just need to just drop back a little bit, get back into groove with training and that. So I'd literally gone from amateur into a full-time environment. Do you know what I mean? There were it was just a big jump, mate. But obviously, you're not going to say no at time, are you? So I sort of just took the decision. I says, I'll take it out of your hands. I'll drop back. I had a 2-year contract anyway. So then start at the end of that year, obviously we finished, and then start pre-season. They got relegated that year, 2006, and then.
Did you terminate? Did they terminate your contract then?
No, so then literally because I was on a part-time deal, I had to get terminated, and that was the beauty of it. Whereas Westy and Rich had to stay with him. I don't think they'd have had the luxury of dropping back down like I did, just so easily. So they wanted him in because they were in full time, and then start of pre-season 2007 when they were in it was National League back then. So they started pre-season, and I got a phone call and says, look, we want you to start pre-season. We've seen enough in games with academy and that we think you're ready to come back and start training with us, and I did. Then I went through that year playing for academy, and played more for reserves actually than actual academy. Remember going down to Lee. Chris Hill played for Lee at the time, and Tony was playing Leland, and he caused a big massive brawl.
Leland did.
Tony did, right? And we were all like 16 us, and he was top end. He was 18, so he won. He was oldest in the team by a country mile. We were all like first year academy, and he was last. So we went down to Lee, caused a big massive fight.
One and all in sort of thing.
Next tackle, he dislocated his shoulder and got dragged off.
Oh, nightmare.
And we were like, nice one, Ton.
Left us in
we'll sort this battle out for you. And after the game, I think we sort of earned a lot of respect from him for that, because he was like elder in team, do you know what I mean? And he was like, boys, you stood up to him there. He says, like, because they were all 18 then, they were the beaters in end, but we were like 2 years younger than all them.
That was a big shot.
And Tony were like, and Tony's never ever forgot it ever since. Like he loves it every time he sees me and that. And so yeah, that 2 years gap there, even that was a big difference. You know what I mean? So you're playing against seasoned pros, like I said, against your Danny Nutleys and them sorts of players. It's a bit daunting. Do you know what I mean?
What were your professional debut then? You remember that?
So my professional debut was in 2007. I was 16. It was in Challenge Cup against Loch Lane. Jeffels and that, Tudor. And we had a young side out that day, so there was same again. There were probably about 10 of us from academy that played that day, because obviously Loch Lane were on the amateur side, and there were a couple of.
You have a good game, like,
did you play in that? You didn't play, did you? Eddie Croft and that played. Eddie Croft, Payne, I think Boyley played, and we played. And Jeffels is a few years older than us, and he was trying to be a right rough dick with us. You know what I mean? Carrying on with us all and that. slapping us and that on the floor. Anyway, and then when I signed back at Castle, I went, "Do you want to try and slap me now, then, Jeff Hills?" I said, "I'm not 16 now."
No.
Anyway, and
Well,
like
remember.
back then, he was like, he was just obviously they were trying to win, they were pumped, and it would obviously Castle Lane and Cass, it will probably never happen again, will it?
No.
But back then, yeah, obviously that round at Challenge Cup, and I think we pumped on about 80 odd
It's a
6.
great game for your debut and all that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
So
play well, yeah. You have a good game.
yeah, I played all right. So that was on it game that I played at that time for Cass, and then and I got a phone call. I still had another year left on my deal at Cass, and well, no, I didn't have a deal. My deal were up at end of year in November, and this were about October time, and they were due to give me another deal to stay, but it wasn't going to be a full time. It was just going to be a part time one to play. Anyway, I spoke to my agent Dave Howes, and I said to him, I said, "Look, I says these are on about just making me part time now. Fully, they don't want me to be in the first team." I said, "So, sort of go back to that drinking culture and that. Sort of got in with all wrong ones. I were on that network securities with all them, and we were going out on a Tuesday after work, and then Thursday, Friday, just sort of got caught up in that washing machine and just completely lost track of what my goal was. You know what I mean?
Easily done, innit?
Yeah, and obviously I was knocking about with all older ones at the time, and just got caught up in that sort of in that sort of scene. And I just remember speaking to House, and I said, "Look, I just need to get out of this and get somewhere away." And he went, I've got a club for you." He said, just leave it with me. I'll come back to you. I said, "Sir, I'm working at Eddie Stobart's packing pot with Jack Lee."
Yeah.
So I'm stacking pot at Eddie Stobart, getting 40 quid a day.
Bit of an anticlimax, isn't it?
And then my phone goes. I just picks my phone up in the middle, and boss looks at me. So I just need to take this, mate. I walks outside. Anyway, I went on phone to him for about an hour. Come back in, and boss were like, "What's going on, mate?" He said, "You can't just walk out mid-shift." I went, "I can." I'm off. I said, "Make sure you pay me." I said, "I'm off playing rugby." And that was a true story. Jack Lee were like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I just walked out, ran my dad to come pick me up. My dad were at work. And Jack Lee selected wait till 4 o'clock, and he was like, "Are you not waiting?" I went, "I'm here, because I'm out of here." I said, "Just pay me for half a day." So Howsey got me to Hull KR.
But your dad were proud though then.
Yeah. Well, at time Hull KR had spent a bit of money. They'd signed Sean Briscoe, Chev Walker, Chris they'd signed quite a lot of high-profile names, a few from Oz and that. And my first trade, well, I couldn't drive. I was still on it. I'd just gone 17, really.
Yeah, to take you over your father, like.
Well, I was just learning to drive, and there was Scott Morrell, Ben Kane, Chezzy, Chev, and I can't remember who else. Well, there was somebody else. So we were in 2 cars of 3. And my first session, Chev Walker picked me up, and I was like, because me and Chev had the same agent, so he sort of looked after me. Did House? He says, "Look, I can't drive," he says, "but Chev's willing to pick you up every day." So Chev sort of took me underneath his wing, like, and I was a bit in awe of him. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd watched him for Great Britain and all that sort of stuff. So Chev took me underneath his wing. So I was travelling in for a couple of weeks, and then we sort of split off into 2 cars of 3, and there were me, Chev, and Scott. So I was travelling with them, and then passed my test in November. So we started training back then pre-season on end of October. Seasons didn't used to drag on as much as what they did do now. Pre-seasons were long as old. They were like 12-week pre-seasons, so they were pretty long. So I passed my driving test in November, and then I sort of like well on my feet. Then, do you know what I mean? Because I didn't have to rely on anybody. So my dad.
Hi guys, sponsors of this podcast really helped us out. All money's going to autism families of Castleford. First sponsor was a Tiger Way Cafe, which can be found just inside Castleford Market. Great food, great staff, and great prices. Also, second sponsor is the Pastures Green Butchers, which can be found again in Castleford Market. Excellent meat, excellent quality meat at very, very cheap prices. The third sponsor is Tiger Way Restaurant, brand new Thai restaurant open in Castleford. I've personally ordered from here myself, and it's proper top-notch food. I'll leave links for that in the comments. Yeah, great staff, great food. If you're a local business and want to sponsor any of our podcasts, all money will go to helping families with autism in the area. Yeah, thank you. Please like and subscribe for more.